Welcome back to another Alliance War. For Loki, we're currently rank 11 in the Master Bracket as this war season comes to a close, and we're taking on the TCTIM Alliance. And I apologize ahead of time for there not being any in-game audio. I had some computer issues to work out, but the audio will be back for the next war. Gonna go ahead and boost up here with a health champion and attack boost. And as soon as I get into this first fight, I'm also going to pop a 3-minute boost. That will last me for the first few nodes here. First fight is a 5-star skill champion on an unblockable L1 node, and I'm thinking that it's going to be a Punisher. I'm thinking it's probably Unawakened just because Punisher is so hard to pull one time. You got to be super lucky to pull him one time out of an uncollected crystal. So yeah, this person probably just hasn't pulled him a second time. It's probably going to be Punisher. And sure enough, it is going to be Punisher once I actually get into the fight. I'm going to pop an advanced power boost here. It's not really for any of these fights in particular, to be honest. I was just at the point where I had one in the overflow stash, and I might as well use it here instead of just losing it. I've been very fortunate to not really have to use those power boosts so much. It's the invulnerability boosts and the regen boost that I typically end up using more so than the power star boost. But anyway, we have a 5-star Punisher here, and he's going down pretty smoothly. Not having too many issues here. I did think I was going to be able to finish him off, and that's why I was going as aggressive as I was with the L1 stuns, but did have to bait out the special towards the end, but that's alright. Alright, next node we have a 5-star Science Champion with a persistent charge, so we know it's going to be a MODOK, and I'm just going to jump right in here with a Void. It's Bane and stun immune, so I'm just going to bait out heavy attacks, hit him with my heavy, and transfer the Bane that way, and hope that the Bane... basically, I'm hoping that my health stays high enough, that the Bane damage stays high enough, that is what does the majority of the damage. I get a good Bane transfer there, so I don't lose a whole lot of health, which is fantastic. The debuffs come out pretty slowly here against MODOK since I don't really feel comfortable using specials, and you're going to see a big mistake coming up in just a moment here, where I'm going to throw a special 2, and I don't really know why I throw the L2 here. I mean... I guess I do know why. I thought he was dashing at me, and I was like, okay, here's a good time to get the L2. His shield was down, and that might have finished out the fight. But it didn't quite work out that way, and end up taking a lot of damage. But this MODOK, he does eventually drop. Unfortunately, a couple of mistakes back-to-back there, missing the L2 and getting hit by the L1 cost me a fair amount of health, but, the fight... Still was alright. I didn't lose too much health. Alright, so I have Scouter Lens, seeing that this is a rank 4 skill champion, and he has a rank 5 Blade in his profile, so I know it's not going to be Blade, and that means I want to take in Stark Spidey for this fight. It's Limber, Buffet. I do a couple of checks just to make sure my 1 3-minute boost is still active. Just kind of mentally preparing myself for this fight. I'm thinking, you know what, we've got a Halls of Healing coming up. Let me go ahead and pop this level 2 Alliance Potion. I'm going to get that back in the Halls of Healing anyway, so let's just top off and jump on this fight. So it's Agent Venom, and Agent Venom is a fight that I'm not all that concerned with. Just going to build up some poise charges, bait out the heavy attacks to find my openings, and, if you dash back quickly enough on Agent Venom's heavy attack, you actually do not gain the dexterity buff, and you do not trigger Buffet as a result. Now, I'm not always quick enough with it. You can see this time I was quick enough, so I didn't trigger it. But there will be times where I'm not going to be quick enough, and he is going to get a bit of healing, but that's alright. I do have to build up some more poise charges here anyway as I bait out this special, so he gets a bit more healing there, which is fine. I'm back at 10 poise charges, so now I'm just going to be laying into him again. And Stark Spidey, he's doing some good work here. Can't wait to get this guy up to rank 5. He's still the front runner on my roster as to who's going to rank 5, although of course that could change. But for the time being, yeah, I'm pretty excited about getting him to rank 5. I'm going to hit him with this L2 here, and this should finish the job if I get some crits. And I only got 1 crit out of the 3, but he still dies to the shock damage in the end anyway, so it's all good. Alright, going to jump over to B over here, path 7, and I have that Kingpin mini-boss waiting for Stark Spidey once again. So this is a pretty good war to show why I bring Stark Spidey, even though some wars I don't use the champion at all. there are some fights where I absolutely rely on Stark Spidey and don't really want to use Void. And this is another one of those fights. Kingpin on Buffet, just going to go ahead and heal up. The one nice thing about Stark Spidey that I really like, or one of the nice things I should say that I really like, is that his health pool is small, which is bad kind of, but it's also good because it doesn't take that many potions to top off. So yeah, normally I gotta chuck like 3 or 4 into Void. With Stark Spidey, it's like, oh, 1 potion, good to go. Alright, so Kingpin, my strategy is basically the same as when I was fighting Agent Venom. Just going to be building up some poise charges early on, and then baiting out the heavy attacks and trying to be quick enough on the heavy that I do not trigger dexterity. Of course, I got to build those poise charges first, otherwise my damage is going to be pretty poor. I don't always build up to 10 right away, though, just because I don't want to get backed against the wall. That's when you get into some dangerous territory. You're going to have to kind of balance building up poise charges and not getting backed up against the wall. Now, I made a mistake here. I should have stayed closer and let the auto-evade take over so that I can gain a 10th poise charge. I did it that time, but I could have had a poise charge that previous combo. But that's alright. He's still dropping fairly quickly here. Stark Spidey's doing some good work. Gonna hit him with this L2. He's already down to, well, he was at 40% before that. He's dropping down below 20. 2 shocks actually stick, so it's really nice to see. And, yeah, I messed up there. I thought I had the 5-hit combo into L1. Used the L1 a little bit too early and interrupted my combo, but that's alright. Kingpin still goes down anyway. Alright, so Kingpin down. Moving on to the next fight, we have a 6-star Science Champion. No clue who I'm going to be seeing on this node. I was thinking, like, what is this, Sentry or something like that? I was trying to run through any 6-star Science options in my mind just to think if there was anyone that I'd feel threatened to fight on this node, and I couldn't think of anybody, so I didn't really care who it was. I was just going to go in here with Void and throw some degen on them. And it turns out it's Red Hulk. Okay, no problem. Red Hulk, he is pretty tanky, and on this node, it's just going to make him that much more tanky. But the degen doesn't really care about Red Hulk's armor or physical resistance. So I got a few debuffs up, and you can see his health just kind of melting away slowly here to start things off. As soon as I get a Fear of the Void up, he'll really start to melt. And basically just trying to minimize any kind of incoming damage, making sure to bait out the L1s, making sure to not push him to an L2, just so I can constantly have these openings. And then the only other thing I'm worried about is not messing up the timing on my L1, just because I want this fight to be over pretty much as soon as it can be. So I want to save this L1 right here to make sure I can throw it at him as soon as Fear of the Void hits. So just kind of waiting on that. There's the 6 debuff. Fear of the Void is starting to tick. I could throw the L1 right here and immediately get 1 debuff on him right away. And yeah, as soon as I get this other L1, Red Hulk, he's down. So not that long of a fight. A little bit long just because Red Hulk was tanky, but not that bad overall. Alright, next fight, we have a 5-star Tech Champion, 5-star Awakened Tech Champion. And I wasn't too sure who I was going to see on this node. It's an armor node, so it's possible that people put Infinity Man here. I've seen it a few times in the past. But I really wasn't thinking it was going to be him this time around, but it actually is Infinity Man, as you see me muting the game because I realized that, oh yeah, that's right, I don't have audio anyway, so let me just go ahead and tick that button. But anyway, Infinity Man. Alright, so just this node with Void fighting Infinity Man is really not too bad at all. The only thing I'm worried about is getting clipped by these specials. Other than that, I could lay into this dude, hit him with some 5-hit combos, get my L1s going. It's got Arc Overload, so as soon as I get some Petrifies on him, that regen that he's gaining is just going to be killing himself, basically. I'm trying to get the second Petrified debuff up, but of course, as RNG likes to do sometimes, the Petrified debuff is the 6th debuff, so that's alright though. As soon as I get that up, get Fear of the Void, get another L1, the regen's really going to start to burn him out. Void's just very effective against Infinity Man in general. He is awakened, which means the last 15% is sometimes a nightmare depending on who you're using, but not really so much with Void. Void, you can kind of just sit back, let the degen do its thing. Not too worried about the power gain, because at that point I'm going to have enough debuffs that he's not going to be gaining power. And especially with this node, Arc Overload, yeah, he's just going to be melting himself. Watch this. He's got 2 Petrifies and the Fear of the Void. His health is just melting, and yeah, he's just going to degen right out. There we go. Alright, so Infinity Man down. We've got one last fight for this war, and it's going to be a King Groot. Now, in a previous war video, I had said that I regret not healing up against this King Groot, even though I was confident in the fight against him. You know, why take the risk? And I should just heal up, just to be extra safe, right? Why take that risk? But I'm gonna take that risk again here. I don't know why. I just couldn't bring myself to use a potion. It's just King Groot. I'm very comfortable fighting King Groots, so I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I just go in with the health I currently have. And this time around, I am going to learn my lesson from last time about getting some specials off quicker, just to make sure the fight doesn't take forever, and I don't risk timing out or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a special right away and get that degen started. Now, I do make several mistakes throughout this fight where I get a parry stun, and I know he's going to shrug off the stun when he has the Furies, and yet I try to go in anyway. I can't explain it. I don't know why I did that. You know, I don't know why I tried to go in after the parry stun, but yeah, you're going to see that a few times, and luckily I don't really get punished for it. So yeah, it's really not that big of a deal, but just for the future, I really shouldn't be doing that. Do pretty good. Oh, there we go. There was one of those times I was talking about. I was going to say, I'm actually playing it fine up until that last parry on the Fury. That's when I made that mistake. I got lucky in this fight with the early Petrifies, which makes it just very nice and convenient for throwing my own specials. So that was pretty fortunate. I'm getting some poor luck on the Resonate debuffs, though. I would like to trigger Resonate to get him out of the Fury phases so that my other actual important debuffs can land. But here we go. Now I've got Fear of the Void and 1 Petrify, so watch when I throw my special 1. King Groot's actually going to be losing power just because of the Strike Back node instead of gaining it. So yeah, pretty sweet mechanic against the Strike Back node. And King Groot, I mean, he was never really a threat. He's about to drop to some degen, and he falls right on his back, and that is all she wrote for this war. That was my final fight in this war. TCTIM, I think those were the letters. Good war to you guys. It was a very close war, actually, down to the wire. For Loki, we did take the victory here, but it was extremely close. Definitely a nail-biter for sure. But that is going to do it for this war video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.